In the heart of the village lay an old graveyard, known to all but visited by few. Whispered legends told of spirits that wandered there at night. I never believed in those stories until one cold autumn evening. I had been challenged by my friends to spend a night amidst the gravestones to prove my bravery. With a flashlight and a blanket, I ventured in, determined to emerge the next morning with my reputation intact. The moon was a thin crescent, casting long shadows that danced with my flashlight's beam. I settled near an ancient oak tree, its gnarled roots spreading around graves that seemed as old as time itself. Hours passed, and the chilly wind rustled the dying leaves. Just as I was beginning to think the night would be uneventful, I heard it, a soft, mournful humming. My heart raced as I scanned the area, but I saw no one. I convinced myself it was the wind playing tricks on my ears. Then, as midnight approached, a thick fog enveloped the graveyard. The world outside the gates disappeared, and I felt trapped in a realm of the dead. The humming grew louder, transforming into a melodic lament, and I saw them shadowy figures moving among the gravestones, their silhouettes vague and indistinct. I hid behind the oak, peering out. The figures seemed to be searching for something, moving from one grave to another, their murmurs echoing in the cold night air. My curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to follow one. She looked like a young woman, her dress old and tattered. She stopped at a grave, knelt, and began to weep. The tombstone was worn, but I could just make out the name, Lilith. "Are you Lilith?" I dared to whisper. She turned to me, her face obscured by the mist, but her eyes glowing faintly locked onto mine. "I'm searching for her," she replied, her voice a hollow echo. I offered to help, thinking maybe I could ease her sorrow. Together we wandered, and as we did, she told me her tale. She had been separated from Lilith, her sister, during a plague that swept the village centuries ago. She died from heartbreak, while Lilith succumbed to the illness. Their spirits were trapped, forever seeking each other. As dawn approached, we reached a recently disturbed grave. The earth was fresh, the tombstone new. Shockingly, my name was inscribed on it. I staggered back, trying to understand. The woman, no longer the shadowy figure but a clear, beautiful soul, smiled sadly. "I had to show you," she whispered. "We are bound by a shared fate. My search for Lilith will never end, and you will wander, seeking an exit that doesn't exist." As the first rays of sun pierced the fog, she faded away. The graveyard returned to its quiet state, and the village appeared beyond the gates. But the gate was locked from the outside, and no matter how loud I shouted or how hard I banged, no one heard or saw me. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Every night I joined the spirits in their eternal search, and every day I watched as the world moved on without me. I now understand the true horror of the graveyard. It's not the spirits that wander here, it's the living souls they trap, forever